Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Trekking Across the Universe here on the NDB Media Network. Thank you for joining us today. Well, at least for some of us, is Saturday, January 25th, 2025, 25 days into the new year, and all is going well. Folks, thanks for joining us. It is 4:30 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. Want to welcome the co-host. You know who I am. I'm Roger. Let's get to it. Michael, how you doing?
Doing good?
Where in the world are you, Michael?
Oh, that's a trick question.
Yes. Are you authorized by Section 31?
I'm really not, no.
All right, fair enough. Liz, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. And like Michael, I am secluded somewhere that only Section 31 and Michael know.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have my Section 31 badge. Oh, man. I was going to tap on it right now, but hey, it's all right. And let's go to, hey, Admiral Greg. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
So where in the world are you? I can see you've been undercover for a while, haven't you? Wow, buddy.
4 months since September. I last trimmed in September. So,
wow.
So, I've been in my winter torpor. So,
I like it. All right. Aaron, for the man who is ahead of us, both figuratively and literally, how you doing, young man?
I'm good. Today's fairly cool. Yeah, we've had a hot week of 40 Celsius, so it's cooled down a little bit.
It has been odd out here on the West Coast. As you know, we've been ravaged by fires for the last 2 to 3 weeks now. And today was a cool day. And just before we went live, I looked up to the north and I can see the rain clouds. So here's hoping.
They're talking about that on the news this morning. Everybody's excited for the rain.
Yeah, we really are. So hopefully it'll go well for us.
Hopefully. Mudslides, right?
Yeah, but I don't have to do any of that after. Hope, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in, Hope. Maybe you saw Section 31. You can drop some comments here. I want to give a quick shout out to Elizabeth Olivia Cooper. Thank you for giving us the like. Folks, let's get to it. Star Trek, Section 31. I swear I almost expected to say the movie. But that's a 1979 throwback. I don't think they'll do that anymore. I want to get to everyone. This is something that we've been waiting for at least 2 years, maybe 3. I don't know. There's been talk about this for a little bit. But Greg, secluded man, let's get to you, buddy. And let's just get into the conversation.
Okay, well, sure. Well, it's obvious that they did want to do a series and tried to cram everything into a 90-minute film. Not a 2-hour film, but a 90-minute film. I will say the last 50 minutes were better than the first 40. So I was almost at the point where I thought it was going to be unwatchable in the beginning. I have to say I'm really still disappointed in Star Trek being overly derivative. I didn't realize that Giorgio competed in the Hunger Games.
That's what I was going to comment on.
And I'm could have sworn there for like 10, 20 minutes there I was watching Mission Impossible from the late 60s. Mid to late 60s.
Interesting. All right. Liz, you just muted yourself. Go ahead.
No,
wait. Justin asked, hi, Justin. If you had to be one character for the rest of your life by law, who would it be? Come on, man. I'd stick with Palpatine. Are you kidding me? Or, well, maybe Q. I don't know. I get bored after a few billion years, but I'm inherently evil.
You're inherently evil, but Q was not.
The Q. I just said that I am inherently evil. I'd be okay. Anyway, but who else? Aaron. If you could be a character for the rest of your life, by law, who would it be?
If it doesn't have to be a Star Trek character, probably Doctor Who.
Mine. That's mine, Aaron.
Liz?
Good choice.
Yeah, I was going to say Aaron just took mine because it was going to be Doctor Who.
Well, you could be Doctor Who as well.
No, there's only one doctor.
Around.
One doctor.
Fine. Michael, who would it be?
Oh, let's just go with Doctor Who. I mean, why not?
All right, fine. Greg, Admiral.
Well, I thought Q was a good response there, but now I think I want to be the Master.
You'd
Woo.
be good as the Master.
All
Be a plan.
right.
Especially right now, the way he looks. Mhm.
That's cool. All right. Well, Liz, going back to you before I so rudely interrupted, give me your ideas on the event that we.
I was
over the last
so
2 days.
looking forward to this for so many years that we were waiting basically on pins and needles, and then when this thing started, I'll be honest with you, I had to watch it 3 times to actually get through it. The first time I turned it off after about 20, it just found it. I could not follow it, and it was just did not do anything for me. The next time I tried watching it, I hung on for about an hour. The third time I finally got through it all, but it was so disgusting to me. It was just, it felt like for the good parts, you had combined, and I had to laugh at Greg when he said the Hunger Games, because that's what I was going to say too. It sounded like you had a cross between the Hunger Games, Doctor Who, and a little bit of Boardwalk Empire all combined in there together. And it was so horrible. Now, the good things with it, I will say, was the spaceship and how some of the designs were. That was cool. That was really cool. And some of the on-set designs for some of the things, both clothing and some of the props. But other than that, they can take that, open up a pod door and eject that thing as far away as it will ever go, because that was the most. That was not Star Trek. That was like somebody trying to reach the scraping bottles of the barrel and still not get it. It was so bad.
So, what are your real feelings on it? Okay, Aaron, tell me.
Look, I like Liz said. Obviously, we've been looking forward to this for ages. I think it was supposed to turn into a series during COVID, so it's been a long time coming. To be honest, I actually didn't mind it, and I kind of feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone, because what I've read online in the lead up to this film versus what I thought when I watched it is like worlds apart. I think I watched a different film. So, yeah.
I'm curious, Aaron, because I have avoided the internet deliberately. What have you read?
I mean, the early reviews for this pretty much said basically what Greg and Liz have said, that this was a disaster film. It is not worthy of a B movie. It's definitely not Star Trek. It's badly shot. The acting is poor. The story is not great. But it is not great. But yeah, so yeah, reading that versus when I watched it, I was like, oh, this isn't as bad as I read it to be. So
wow, I hadn't read
that's
any
where
of
I'm
the
at.
interviews. So
I'm just seeing all the typical, oh my God, it's so woke.
Oh, really?
it's always woke, but who
There's
cares
that
about
too.
that?
There's always.
That's interesting, because I myself only caught one item where, and when they were talking about the mech suit or whatever. Yeah, that one was okay. I caught that, but I actually, nothing personal, but I thought it actually worked in to the story on that one. I found it a tad amusing.
That wasn't the least of the detractors.
Now, okay, we'll get into that, Michael.
Well, I have feelings of everybody. I mean, I started watching it and I went, am I on the wrong channel? And it did not seem like Star Trek to me. And it didn't even seem to me like the Terran Empire, from what I kind of surmised what it would have been. So Hunger Games, I couldn't place what it was, but you two, Hunger Games, that's what it was. But that just didn't dawn on me when I was watching it. And I had a hard time getting through it. Now, I will say I had a hard time getting through it the first time. However, the time went a lot faster than I thought it did, because I was supposed to be somewhere and I was 30 minutes late because I thought I was only going to watch 20 minutes and I ended up watching almost 50 minutes of it. the first time, so that surprised me because of this. And I said, I think, kind of said it to Roger. It's not what I expected to see at all.
You did tell me that yesterday.
Yeah.
That was the only comment.
That's the
that we
only
shared.
comment I made. It wasn't what I expected.
How many times have you seen it then, Michael? I'm sorry. Is it
One
just
and three,
one?
1 3/4.
Liz?
All total, probably about 1.5. Because the first 2 times I didn't watch it all the way through. The third time I did.
Greg?
Just the once, but in 2 sittings.
Aaron?
Once.
I saw it twice. Actually, I might have begun a third. I was beginning to watch it at 9 p.m. That's when it debuted for me out here. And I think I closed my eyes 6 minutes in. I'm like, okay, I'm out. And I think it's because I was tired. So I don't know if that one counts. But because she hadn't even, or had she? Oh, no, yeah. She had already stabbed San or whatever. Oh, no, wait. The first time? No, that was a few minutes in. And they were still with the family at first. So I didn't see very much. The second time I saw it late last night with my sisters and my daughter. And my daughter had already seen it once before. And I asked her for her opinion. And she said, I can't rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. But I can rate it on a scale from 1 to 5. Okay.
Just double your 1 to 5
what is that
number.
scale? Well, I give it a 3.5.
A 7.
That's a 7.
Yeah.
Well, I can't quite give it a 7.
But you just gave it a 3.5.
So that's a 6.5 then. No, it's a 3.5. Oh, for the love of God. Like, all right. I don't know. She said that it works, but she can't quite give it a 7. That's where she was saying. And I found that interesting. I had not seen it yet. Then, of course, I saw it. I was with my sisters. It was late at night, late for me. And I actually fell asleep twice. I was like, oh, my goodness. So I saw it again today. And I actually was only out for about a minute or two each time I realized. I really was resting my eyes. So
You were studying the inside of your eyelids.
I think I was, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it moved. It moved well. Look, guys, this is the 2257. This is the 23rd century. There were 3 major fist fights or martial art engagements that kept going forever. This is a science fiction movie. This is something in the future. And what does it come down to? Fist fights. I thought that was amusing. Whether it's 3, 10, whatever, it's like, okay. I know they're showcasing her skills. She is good at it. There's no doubt. But I looked at the map at first where they said, oh, we can't go across that border. And I knew it was Rachel Garrett when she said, I'm Lieutenant Garrett. I'm like, oh, Rachel! I screamed it out.
I had read that beforehand.
I didn't know.
I heard that character was going to come in, and I go, oh, that's interesting.
Okay, but I don't know if the timeline fits.
That's what I was going to ask everybody because I didn't think it did. No.
It didn't fit.
It's 2257. Rachel Garrett was 20 years before not Narendra. Yeah, wait. Oh my God, what's the name of the planet? Oh, where the Romulans attacked.
Narendra 3.
Thank you. That was 22 years before the Next Generation.
Yes.
So
but
if
this
we were
is
in
before Kirk.
This is 100 years.
Yeah.
But I think the guy's name is Alak, one of the main characters. He says, I'm not only from another place, but another time. So
and his didn't work either. His timing, in my opinion, his didn't work either. He said he was born in the 20th century.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the old timeline, from.
Yeah. He says he was born in the 20th century, 350 years. I'm sorry?
It would still put it 2250s.
Right. And
which would be somewhere after the beginning of Generations.
Okay, but if we go by that timeline, 2257, he was asleep for 300 years. When in the 20th century was he born? I know we're splitting hairs here, but it
Well, the
didn't seem to
eugenics was
match
supposed
either.
to be in the 80s.
Okay,
So that would have put him as a young man in the 80s.
yeah,
So he's probably would have been around our age.
okay. Ooh, poor guy.
So at this point, they're bringing Andromeda into it, basically.
Well,
Everybody's
I did
frozen.
notice that Lack and Giorgio have an attraction. Did you guys catch that? Yes. There was a moment where they both rested their foreheads on each other. And at the very end, there's a flirtation going on. Greg, you caught it, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and, you know, it didn't detract. I mean, both of those actors, as well as the actor that played San, were basically carrying the cast. Both as well as they were written and as they were performed. You know, honestly, I thought the rest of the characters were just ridiculous, including Garrett's portrayal of Garrett.
Ooh, okay. All right. Fair enough. I guess just to shut myself up, just to my final thoughts. I thought the movie moved when I was awake to watch it, and it is shorter. It's about 1:40, I believe. That's the total runtime with title
minute
credit.
40. Well, that's good. I figured it was like.
Yeah, that's with
minute.
credits too. So
You mean an hour 40?
Mhm.
Oh, I apologize. Yes, 1:40. Thank you. And my daughter mentioned that it was short, but she just couldn't give it a 7. And I would have to agree with her. I cannot. Going back to the whole thing of the map, when Garrett says we cannot cross the border, said on the map, the star bases are on the left side of the map. The Starfleet command is on the left side. Did you guys catch that? I did. There was star bases listed on the left side, where she said, "Well, we can't cross that side." Well, they did, and there were star bases.
Was the name on the left-hand side of the border?
The star bases, yes, it was on the left side. I thought it was kind of amusing.
I'd have to look at that again. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
We're wasting time.
Ugh.
But anyway, there was a haphazard way that they put this together. I thought that that technology where she could distort the waves, I thought that was good. That was. And but beyond that, I don't know.
It did
Would
have
I
a
watch
lot of
it
really good ideas. I mean, and of course, I mean the fight scenes. Yes, they showcased Michelle. I expected that, and I wanted to see it because that's I mean, I think it's awesome that this middle-aged woman's out there kicking butt.
Yeah. I did get the Mission Impossible vibe throughout the entire movie. And I did get the Hunger Games vibe as well. When she is messing with the Lack by saying, "All right, cut the crap," you smell of Section 31. And then remember in the first Mission Impossible movie with Tom Cruise, where he says, "Let's walk around the room."
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like. It says, you got so-and-so over here, you got so-and-so over there. So yeah, that was a clear Mission Impossible vibe that I got.
Complete with all the types of characters.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Because like the Delton was Cinnamon, the guy that could shapeshift was Martin Landau's character. They had
I didn't get that.
The Vulcan, who really I wasn't sure what he was, but he turned out to be the tech guy. And then it's like they had all the
yeah.
They had the entire cast.
Characters.
No, he was Willie.
Okay, that goes back to the original Mission
That's
Impossible.
well, he was talking about Martin Landau, and that was the original. So I said, well,
Yeah, Martin
if you're going to
Landau's
go back to
original.
the original, then let's go.
Well, yeah, Cinnamon was too.
And so was Cinnamon. So I said, okay, he's going back to the original. Said, well, in that case, then that is Willie, the muscle, So
Yeah.
and that's way before Aaron's time. So
Yeah, sorry.
Worth
I'm
watching. Aaron.
genuinely surprised that all of you disliked the movie. That's well, I don't want to say disliked it, but I think you were clearly disappointed by it.
Underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed is underwhelming statement at that point for me. It was worse than that.
I thought the second half was a lot better. It started to feel more like Star Trek into the second half. Despite that, they still had the nano whatever in there. And like once they offed the mech guy and blew up the ship, it seemed to be a
little better.
little bit better paced. So my guess is that what would have been the later episodes of the series were a lot more fluff than they were gonna, I mean, to me, it seemed like they shortened up the beginning where they were doing character introductions, which made that part of it awful.
Oh yeah.
And then the second part, it seemed like, okay, now they're focusing on the story. And it probably would have been worse if all those episodes had B stories.
Yeah. I almost think they should have just shelved this until they could either do, a full 8 or 10 episodes or done a longer length movie. But this definitely did not work however they did it.
Well, gang, wasn't that the whole thing? That
Originally,
they
it
were
was
committed
supposed to
to
be.
move to a series, but the
Yes.
reality is Michelle Yeoh,
she didn't. have
she's
time.
like booked for the next 30 years. Aaron.
It was because of COVID. They were supposed to begin production, and then COVID happened, and then Michelle Yeoh won her Oscar, and they were like, well, her availability is not going to happen. But it got to the point because I watched an interview with the actor that plays the Vulcan character, and he said that they actually got the scripts for the series, and he had like a standalone episode, like character episode in the series. So that's how far it got.
Oh wow.
Now, see, that is something I would have liked to have seen, for them to get those characters fully fleshed out and decent storylines and see what it was going to do. Because that part could have been good.
This was the Apollo 11 moment when the girls are all coming out. This was a great shot at the end. They did look good. This left me to believe that there are plans, that it's open. That's the impression that I got, that it is far from over. And that Vulcan guy came back, the wife, I guess, right?
The wife, yeah.
Yeah, which I was like, okay, we'll see. Based on what you guys are thinking now, and I'll go counterclockwise, Michael, do you believe there'll be another movie continuing this as opposed to a series?
Oh, that's a toughie. I'm not. I think it depends how other fans react to this, because if they're reacting like most of us are, there won't be anything more.
I have not gone to Rotten Tomatoes yet. I'm going to go there right now. I just hadn't. Greg, what based on your thinking right now, will there be a movie? Will there be a series? Or is Section 31 done?
I think it could have proceeded, but I think it's going to get trounced in the reviews, and Paramount's probably going to look at this and other projects a little bit differently.
Wow.
What he said, or Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, sorry, Greg. I didn't mean it. 24%. I was agreeing with Greg on the tomato meter. 19% on the popcorn meter.
Oh wow! That is bad.
Despite Michelle, this just was a train wreck.
Wow.
And
I mean, if you couldn't get past the first 30 minutes and gave up on it before the last 40, you saw, there's no way. I mean, my wife left in the first 20 minutes. She just she was. I mean, I think it's because we're getting so old that everything seems derivative. But I mean, it was just so obvious and so poorly done.
Aaron?
I mean, if we're talking about like giving fans what they want, I mean, technically, going by the previous track record, they would 100% make another movie. They would 100% turn this into a TV series. Like, it's the opposite of what the fans want, I suppose. So, yeah, I don't know. Given the bad press and the fact that they, did a press tour with Michelle Yeoh to promote this film, I would think that this would be a failure for Paramount and they wouldn't proceed further. It would be a stain on your CV. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis was in this film at the end.
I know.
Like, that's...
And she even phoned it in. That was disappointing.
I'd be embarrassed.
That was really disappointing from her.
Liz?
I kind of agree with what both you guys were saying. I do not think that Paramount is even going to even obtain the fact to look at it having another episode or another movie of this, because if it is bombed as badly, not only as what we're all saying, but what apparently all the reviews are saying, they're going to cut their losses and that was a horrible one, let's spend our money doing something else. Paramount already has so many wonderful shows in the pipeline that they're already fighting to keep up. That's where the money's going to go, whether it be Star Trek or whether it be something else, but they're going to divert that money elsewhere. They're not going to keep something as bad as this.
Well, remember, we have the shadow of Paramount CBS being purchased by another firm, and we're basically seeing the end of this life. I know that there are the programs coming in, but wow. Now I'm just
things can change.
They can. I guess, gang, I'm surprised. I think I had a bit more positive attitude. I didn't know what you guys were going to comment, and I'm blind to everything on the internet,
which is a good way to be honest.
I've tried
lucked
to
out.
I didn't know what I did. All I saw was like a couple Facebook comments on one of the things, and it was just the typical, and that was even before I watched the second half. I mean, I didn't think it was woke. I thought it was representative, but I didn't think it was woke. I thought they did a really good job of being representative. I thought, I mean, I've supported the idea of a diverse cast since the 60s. So, I mean, it was obvious when they would put like token characters in or something, but like, it didn't matter to me. What mattered to me was the fact that, it's like, okay, Lower Decks is doing well. Let's make some of these people silly. And I'm like, no, you don't do that in live action. Honestly, one of the biggest detractors is they put the pop singer in the bar. They could have just had like lounge music, or something.
When I first heard that music, I literally thought they were going to play, like she was going to sing the TOS theme. Like that's what it like all the instruments were there, and I was like, how cool would that be? That just a bit of an in reference to the fact that that's the lounge music. That would have,
That's a good idea. I don't think it dawned on anyone. They didn't do that. Wow. Geez. This is not something that I'm going to recommend to anyone. And I guess that's, for me, says it. I wouldn't say, hey, go watch Section 31. I don't think I'm going to recommend it to anyone. Wow.
Or you want to see some good fight scenes and stuff? Watch the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't even think that the fight scenes were that good, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well,
especially the last one. The way it's shot.
Oh no, the last one
it
the blurred whatever they were trying to do with the green screen work, it wasn't working. It was detracting because it was so hard to tell what was going on.
Oh, and the lip thing.
The first one was better. I thought the one with even though every time they slammed on the floor, they should have fallen through to a floor below.
By the way, she went through the walls. Why didn't she go through the floor, right?
They were using the same logic from the next phase in TNG.
Yes, of course.
Exactly.
And most every other show that has creatures that go through walls, but they don't fall through floors. Yeah, it's same
Power
logic.
wheel.
It must have something to do with the gravity plating, maybe. It counters.
Well, I'm just
the
talking
weight.
about ghosts. I mean, the same thing. You've ever seen that show? They can go through walls, but they can't. They don't fall through floors.
Yeah, that's
So it's
No,
kind of like, okay, yeah,
yeah,
because it works for them, so they just make that up.
You're right, and it was an interesting concept because I've actually understood that from some astronomy courses on the tone, the vibration. I got that right away. I was like, ooh, that was really good. But beyond that, yeah, there's a lot of holes in that one.
There was a lot of good ideas. It's just they didn't add up for me.
They wanted to get away from what we consider the Star Trek universe. That's the inside of a ship, a star base, or something like that. And yeah, I guess it is a significant misfire.
That's
It was
okay.
great to see Michelle Yo, I'm sorry. It was great to see her. I was looking forward to it because of her.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit. And I expected to see the young man, the Klingon, I forget his name, from
Yeah, and I was
From
surprised.
Picard?
I had
not
yeah,
from Picard.
no from Discovery.
From Discovery.
Discovery. Yeah,
Season
you're right.
1, I believe, maybe season
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, and honestly, some of the pre stuff, he was in it.
Really?
Some of it, yeah, because that's what I came across as. Ooh, I like this background, and then I saw the thing, and I go, he's not in it. I had to pull it down. I'd already posted it.
Oh, wow.
I'd already
Just
posted
going back to the timeline thing. Online, it says that this film is set in 2324 to 2326.
it. Really?
Okay, very good. But I specifically wrote down a date that was on screen. And it was...
The date on is Stardate 1.
Maybe that was when she was young. Maybe
Okay.
that's the date they threw up.
Could be.
I
Okay,
didn't see a date,
she
but maybe.
marks...
Stardate 1292.4, which is April
Right,
the
that
17th,
was-
2324.
Okay, and that's fair, but they were talking in the overview about this dog bites. It says in 2257 she joined Section 31. So when she's younger, I could see those dates, but they specifically stated that. That's why I wrote that down. In 2257 she joined Section 31, but after a few years, Section 31 lost contact with the former emperor. She was found later under the alias Madame Dufranc near Huperia 5. And, we're going to send Alpha Team to make contact, but make no mistake, this dog bites. Yeah,
Well, the
so
only thing I can
season 1
change-
of Discovery was 2257.
Yeah, and that is correct. However, if you remember she was thrown back into time by the Guardian.
but we don't know when.
And we don't know when, so it
Came
could have
out,
been
yeah.
the dates that Aaron is saying. That's when she showed up again in 23 whatever.
I would say the problem is that in what you were saying, that classified file, it presents the actual year, whereas on screen it gives a star date, which to a general layperson
Right.
who's reading it, like, what does that even mean? So, yeah, I think that probably was just a misfire on the graphic to place where this is. But according to what it says online, it was written to be in 2324 or 2326. And so
That's what I'm
Enterprise C
finding,
is
too.
2344.
Okay,
and then,
so
and then
if
it's
that would
23,
make better sense with
24,
Rachel.
Yes, it would make better sense. And
Yeah,
how
that
long
would
after did
make
they
it
lose track?
closer to the Enterprise B's timeline.
Yeah, and Aaron, I did not hear that you said 23. I thought it was 22 21. So I'm like, no, that's before this.
Yeah.
So I did not hear that. So, okay. All
It's
right.
the accent, Roger. You don't.
I wasn't even clear as if it was supposed to be the same universe. Because they sent you remember she went through the Guardian Forever, and it wasn't necessarily clear as to even if it was in the current timeline.
No, that's
It
true.
made you think about that, didn't it? It's like seemed
Yeah.
a little off.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, knowing that was good, and I appreciate that. Yeah, okay, I can see Garrett being there. All right, yeah, that works.
And actually, her phaser that she has, the front part of it is like a Dustbuster phaser, and the back part is like the movie one, the first one. So
I did not get a very good look at their weapons. I know the Section 31.
they never
had
shot
those-
them, really, did they?
Yeah,
No.
the Section 31 have those twin barrel, whatever they were. I don't know if they were phasers or something. I don't know. And then Mel, the one that when she died early on, there was a whole different. It was like a dolphin type weapon, but I don't know anything beyond that.
It kind of looked like something in between the Type 1 classic phaser and the Dustbuster phaser.
Okay.
Which wouldn't have been a bad design if they were going for, the Lost era.
Yeah. I guess this would qualify as the Lost era. That's where they went. I guess this is a misfire. Clearly.
I mean, people were complaining about it on one of the group pages. They were complaining about it not being, crispy Star Trek, crispy clean Star Trek. I thought if they were going gritty, that they generally didn't go gritty enough, with the exception of where the safe house was.
Yeah.
I thought the bar didn't look sleazy enough. I thought, even
They
the
said it was
garbage
tacky.
can looked kind of clean inside.
Michael?
So that whatever the little carrier said, it's tacky.
Oh yeah.
They were right. It was
Data,
tacky.
no.
Yeah, they said it was tacky, but he expected that.
Yeah.
Well, he was just being rude.
Of course he was. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those Terran Empire blokes.
Mhm.
It was interesting how she referred to Zeph as a Swiss Army knife. And like, hey, don't call me names. At least there was a consistency. He doesn't like being called names. And we, the audience, got it. No one else did. The whole idea of the Swiss Army knife. There were a few lines at the very end where I think Garrett says, "You're alive. You did it. We won." And then she reaches for Georgiou for a hug. And then she says, "Perkiness is disgusting." I was like, okay, that was kind of funny. That was the character of what we know of her. But yeah, I don't know if there were any moments that really stood out.
So about the Swiss Army knife thing, I have to say it's ridiculous that no one knew about them. They were developed between the Civil War and the First World War, U.S.
Yep.
Civil War, for those of you not in the state. And if they've already been around for 140 years, they're going to make it another 300.
Yeah.
Mo easily.
There were some moments of interplay. What was the characters, the Cameloid's name? I have them. Is it Quasi?
Quasi, yeah.
I thought he was kind of cool. He was the most human, for lack of a better word. I loved when he says, "Oh, thanks, Captain. Okay, boss." He says, "Wait a minute. These guys are trying to kill me, and you're sending me to go do the search." I thought that was kind of fun. I think he had some of the better lines of all of them, and I did appreciate the character. I don't think he was over the top. I don't know
He
what
was
you guys
better later in the show.
better later.
In the
Yeah.
beginning, he struck me as being too risk adverse to be in a group like that.
Okay. Now, I was surprised at all the different characters in the Alpha team. Because as we know of Section 31, they're all straight laced. They're all right. Yeah.
Yeah. These
So
were not.
that stood out. Oh, and the Vulcan, Fuzz, whatever that thing, that was Men in Black. I thought that was
Yeah.
my Men in Black
A little bit
connection
of that too.
because he was in there. And actually, there was one that I don't know if you guys got this, but at the very beginning, it said coded transmission number one night at the Barum or Baram. My daughter got it right. And then coded transmission number 2 was blank. It was empty. And then coded transmission number 3 was the passageway. And when they wrote it the passageway, I got Ocean's 13 vibes. Because remember, there's moments in the movie where they do something hardcore and they give the name of it real quick. They don't explain it. They just named it. So I did get a bit of Ocean's 13 vibe when they gave it a name but didn't explain it. So
I think that was just the act structure, wasn't it? Like it's saying, like this is Act 1, this is Act 2, this is Act 3.
it is.
Yeah.
But
And I'm almost wondering if there were the original episode breaks in the story.
Could have been.
because transmission number 2 had no name. So
Redacted.
now going back to the whole thing of the Hunger Games, I didn't get that they chose 12 kids to become the next emperors. That's not what we know from the Terran Empire.
No, that's why it didn't make sense to me.
As a matter of
It
fact,
wouldn't
didn't
have
they
been that
say
civil.
promotion is taking out the guy ahead of you?
Mhm.
Yep.
So I did not get that, and I you make the universe fit your story, I suppose, and that kind of really killed it for me. That whole Hunger Games vibe, and that it was, yeah, and the whole thing of the godsend, that was funny. The little wordplay between the group is God sends or is it God send? I hear the exact same thing. I thought that was funny when they were having that
was like the
conversation.
only clever comedic thing for me, I thought.
It was right there.
I mean, I thought it was clever. I appreciated the way that the scene played out when they were
Yes.
doing it.
Yeah, that one stood out for me. There were moments where I was like, man, this could be a good team. Could be. But there wasn't enough of that. The Vulcan, I get it. It was a shell, a body bought on the black market. I get it.
It's
I
the
wonder
new
if they
pug
went
dog.
to say what?
It's the new pug dog.
The new pug dog. I wonder if they went to that planet called Spock's brain to get that.
Oh God.
But yeah, it was a misfire. There was some good imagery on the planet, but yeah, Giorgio had some funny lines when she was talking about Garrett. Oh, and that one over there, she has a stick so far up her backside. You know, that one. I was like, ha 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 ha. That's typical. The stiff upper lip, or not stiff upper lip, but the stiff soldier. Yeah.
I mean, Michelle is wonderful. I mean, she's always wonderful. You know, and I thought she played Giorgio well. I thought the actor that played the lead of the team, whose name escapes me, I thought he did really
Alec
well.
or
Hmm?
Alak.
Yeah. The guy that played Sam was fantastic.
The actors were great. It was the writers and the directors who just really led this to be a flop.
Yes,
Well,
I thought, you know,
Who was the
the
director?
nano whatever, the mech
Oh.
guy, and the shapeshifter. It's like when they were introducing them, it's like they just didn't seem. I mean, they were. It seemed like they were playing off of the Misfit aspect of Lower Decks, but I didn't think it would work in something like Mission Impossible.
What was her name? Was it Belle or Mel? The
It
Delta.
was like Mel, but Melle or something.
Okay, so it was Mel. Zeph was the Swiss Army.
Yeah.
Fuzz was the Vulcan. Quasi was the Cameloid, and of course Rachel Garrett and Alak. Those are their names.
I was also a little disturbed that when Fuzz was said he was naming off his children, that they 80% of them seemed to be viruses.
I had to laugh at that. I'll be honest with you. And he's naming them all off.
Oh, that
was
fun.
goofy.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, the whole character. I thought I realized why they did it for the plotline, but I just thought the whole character was a train wreck.
Switching gears a little bit, did you guys catch the subtlety of the direction of the character? That when I'm sorry, what's her face? Philippa, when she gets into her first fist fight, she's actually taken advantage of. And then it's like she gets into it, and then she fights with Sam a little bit better. I caught the subtlety that she wasn't at her best at first, and then we got Captain Philippa or Emperor Philippa. There was another moment when her name is Mel. When they said, Mel, he's coming up on you, and you see her and the explosion, she flinches. I don't know if that's something that they meant to get, but for me, that added reality to it. That's like, oh, what's going on? Oh, darn, he's here. I thought that was good. I don't know if it was a mistake or not. They were
it had good moments. I did think a lot of the fight stuff and the action stuff was decent.
Yeah. Oh, and it was interesting that they immediately discovered there was a mole, but the thing is, there were two moles or two agents.
Mm-hmm.
So that was all right.
Well, that was kind of a given anyway, because if you're watching anything
wait a minute.
along these parameters.
Were there two moles or there was just
No,
one?
there was just one.
There was one, but there was another.
He killed off Zeph.
Right.
Yeah, the Vulcan suit was on autopilot.
Yeah.
So he was able to be in two places at once.
Okay.
But it also seemed weird that he could take total control of Zeph's armor.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he said I can get into anywhere and do things. Yeah. All right.
A virus. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. Well, this has actually been a good conversation. Do you guys have some additional thoughts or last thoughts maybe? We do have a comment in the chat room. Let me get to it right now. Elizabeth Bowman says, just starting the movie now. We'll watch you all later this evening. Cheers.
Enjoy.
Good luck.
Yeah. Great line, Aaron. Great line. Yeah, enjoy, Elizabeth. Thanks for stopping by. Go. All right. Guys, last thoughts, and I suppose, or anything else you want to share? Wow.
I'm gonna be cautiously hopeful for Strange New Worlds season 3. Cautiously hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I can't wait for it.
Hopefully you guys will be available. I would love to be able to do the review for you. I mean, with you guys. And if it's something that works, Aaron, we would love to be able to get you in on Strange New Worlds as well. I'm surprised that we've been able to do Saturdays. It has worked for us as well. Because, Aaron, about 6 months ago, Michael and I had discussed doing something on Saturday night. Like, no, not going to work. Just because, yeah, that was a real conversation. But
lasted 5 seconds. No.
Yeah. Let's do this on something.
Nope.
And it was both of us. It's like, yeah, it's done. And then
generally it's not a great time for me, but
not.
This was a special event, and I'll come in and talk about Star Trek for an hour on Saturday night.
And I appreciate that, Greg. Yes, and that's the way it was for us. 6 months ago it wouldn't have worked, but it is now. And when we're doing the lower decks as well, it was great. I am looking forward to Strange New Worlds, and we'll see about that series called the one in Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be watching, but we'll see. Liz, any other thoughts that you want to add in?
No, that was about it. And just for people in general, we are having our Terrible Twos tomorrow at 7:00. And we're reviewing Kiki.
Kiki's delivery service.
Kiki's delivery service. I hope to see you there.
7
10 a.m.
10 a.m. for you.
10 a.m. for you.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Back
Michael.
over, but
Oh, sorry.
if he's occupied, I'll mention it to Susan. She's
Okay.
a huge Ghibli fan.
Oh, yeah, we've been doing a lot of Ghibli stuff or Ghibli offset stuff here lately. Wasn't how it originally started out, but we started liking all the Ghibli stuff so much. It's kind of what we thought we'd do for a while.
And I have to tell you that I'm pleasantly surprised by the numbers on your program. It's really cool. You're doing
Oh,
well.
thank you.
Michael, Greg, your final thoughts on this?
No,
Positive, negative?
I've said everything.
Okay.
I
Did
mean,
you? All right. Well, go back to Liz. I'm figuring it's a negative review then, right, for you?
Oh, it's a negative F, negative F.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. Michael?
Wow, I was
Positive or negative?
going to say C minus, but
Um,
okay.
Okay. C minus. All right. Fair enough.
yeah, that's kind of where I am. So it's not a good, it's not a bad. It's kind of like, because it had good moments. It had good moments.
So you'd say like a C minus then?
Yeah.
Okay. Greg? Yeah. C minus? Because that's about where my daughter said it was too. Aaron?
I would say C plus for me.
Okay. I'm somewhere in the C range. Yeah. I appreciate that they tried. Oh!
Your sister.
Hola, sister! So there it is. I even joked with my sister Alma last night. I said, hey, are you resting your eyes? Because I had just awakened. They didn't see. So now they know. I appreciate that, Lukey's. Thanks, because we saw it late last night. So thank you for that, because we didn't talk about it after. We were tired last night. We went home. So, okay. All right, that's good to know, Lukey's. I'm torn between a C and a C minus myself. And Gmo, again, she had a lot to say about it, but she, like I said, she just could not give it a 7, which I thought was damn fun. Oh, look, again, only
Michelle Yeoh.
because of Michelle Yeoh. Rose, we're all on the same page. I think that's what attracted it.
I actually felt
She was
bad
cool
for
on
her that
Discovery.
this was-
I'm sorry?
I felt bad for her that this was such a bomb
Yeah.
around.
And she's such a fantastic actress. I adore her.
It's obvious that she loves what she does. There's no doubt. Yeah.
And anytime
No,
she's
no.
in, I mean,
Sorry.
her choreographed fights are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, they are.
I mean, that thing in the first fight with where she's using the long scarf, and it's like, oh, it's just beautiful watching her fight.
There were some things to her character that worked. There's no doubt. Wish it could have been better, I suppose. But as Aaron explained to us, this was a series, and Michael, it was a series, and they had to cut it down. So that's a shame. Based on what I see on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that, yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything else. That's a shame. So we'll see. I don't think we're done with Michelle Yeoh, but as far as Section 31, I don't know, because she is a fan favorite. Hey, look, if they get the numbers, remember, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And I suppose the other thing we're not thinking about is the fact that there will be people that will watch this that don't watch Star Trek and are
True.
watching it because of Michelle Yeoh
Because of
or whoever
Michelle.
else is in the cast. So hopefully that brings people into Star Trek and improves the other shows' numbers. But yeah, hopefully it does some good.
I'd be curious what
You're right,
people that don't know Star Trek, but are drawn to her think of this.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that and all the EastEnders fans that will tune in. So
Yeah. Yeah, I really saw this because of her. I had mentioned to my sisters in the GMO that I first discovered Michelle in the second Pierce Brosnan movie, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Nice.
She was the equal to James Bond, man. She was awesome. And I've liked her ever since. So hopefully, you're right, Aaron. I appreciate that comment and everyone else. Maybe some other people will be watching, and if it gets the views,
Yeah.
that's all that matters. So, all right. Well, okay. Liz, you gave us your program info for tomorrow. I'm going to be on tonight at 9:30. In about 30 minutes, Fandom Access is on. Actually, it's not Fandom Access. Michael, what's the name of the program? I've lost
No.
track.
well,
It's
it's
Jamie's.
it's Jamie's. It's Fandom Access. So
It
whatever.
is Fandom Access.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
Okay.
tonight it's going to be because it's Jamie and Karen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the breakdown of Severance.
Yeah.
Oh, Severance. Excellent.
Season
Greg,
2, episode 2, or something like that.
do you have any
Nothing
announcements
upcoming
or
for
anything?
me.
All right. I appreciate that. I'd still like to talk
Waiting
to you
for
about
Strange New
your.
Worlds.
I'm sorry?
Waiting for Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
We all.
We're doing Andor, Greg.
They're doing
Oh.
a second season for Andor?
No,
Yeah.
they're finishing it.
April.
Yeah. April
I knew
22nd it
about
debuts.
a new one for Kenobi. I didn't realize they were doing one for Andor too.
No,
Oh,
They've got to be
Andor's
careful.
ready.
Too. They're hitting market saturation and burning people out.
Yeah. Wow. It's a shame because Skeleton Crew actually wasn't too bad.
No.
I loved it.
And they're not getting the views, man. It's crazy.
You guys were talking about it way too late for me, but I enjoyed it.
Really? Okay, that was only because of our guest. You know, Luca joined us.
I
From the
know.
arc,
That's
dude.
awesome.
That was unreal, man. But anyway,
That's fun.
Aaron, tell me, any announcements, anything that we can look forward to? You're always working on something.
No, not at the moment, unfortunately. So yeah.
Yeah, Section 31 agent. Yeah, whatever. No, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I believe you, Aaron. But I look forward to seeing what you're coming out. So there's no releases, right? Upcoming?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's
He's,
good, man.
he's taking a break.
But if
Yeah.
you want, you can watch the 3 that we did last year at this handle right here.
Oh, always do, man. Always do. And I've told everyone about them. As I told you, my daughter knows about it, and I'm going to have to tell my sisters. Actually, give us your hand. Oh, there it is, folks.
It's on his thing.
Aaron, I'm going to embarrass you because I'm going to put you on solo layout. Rose and Elizabeth, if you're here, Justin, Hope, right there at Voyages Fan Film. Check it out on YouTube. There's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff right there. So, and Greg, where was your last episode at?
My last episode?
Yeah, you had something where you were in a little while ago.
Constar the Motion Picture, yeah, from December.
Excellent.
So it was
Yeah, a
out
few
there on
weeks
YouTube.
ago. All
No
right.
Budget Productions and Filk Ferret Productions collaboration. And Vance worked on most of it with his young son, and they did a father-son thing, and the theme carried into the film. Best part of it is
Greg's in
the
it.
tributes to the 3 people from our productions that we lost.
Oh, yes. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about that. Other than that, folks, appreciate it. This was a surprise review. We're done. On behalf of Aaron, Liz, Greg, Michael, I'm Roger. Thanks for spending some time with us. Always, there's a lot of stuff on the network. Head on over to ndbmedia.net. We'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.